I just did this for a client of mine. We were creating some content for a listing that they've had sitting for a little while. They're trying to get it in front of people in kind of a new way. And so I was trying to really understand in greater detail who it would be perfect for. And then I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Walkthrough, the most underrated, valuable marketing show in real estate and podcasting history. I'm Eric Simon, aka the Broke Agent, aka the Lockbox Legend, aka the Smoke Agent, because I smoke everyone else when it comes to content. How about that?
I like it. So it's your best one yet.
Wow. Thanks.
Yeah.
Tessa, what are your thoughts? You don't seem amused.
Yeah, I've heard better, but
All right. Perfect. And we are joined here by our co-host, Jason Cassidy, a.k.a. Catfish Cassidy, because he looks nothing like his profile pic.
I look exactly like my profile pic. I think I'm wearing the same jacket as my profile pic. Lies. Fake news.
Yeah. Fake news, you're right. Anyway, we are joined here by two amazing guests, two BAM creators. First, from the nation's capital, we have Lindsay Joe, a.k.a. Lindsay Flow, because she's always in the flow state when it comes to selling real estate and making content.
I like
What's
it.
up, Lindsay? How are you? Did you like that?
I'm good.
Lindsay Flow?
I love that. Thank you. So
All right,
happy
good.
to be.
All right, let's see if we could impress Tessa here. What do we have for her? Okay, next from PHX. That's Phoenix for the people at home. We have Tessa Bella, a.k.a. Tessa Hella, because she's hella good at marketing real estate and capturing leads.
oh, okay. I'll take that. That one can stay.
Okay, little Bay Area reference.
As a NorCal guy, it hits. Yep, exactly.
I feel like you used to say hella a lot in high school.
Absolutely.
Jason.
When I was younger, I would say hecka because I wasn't allowed to say hell. And then when I became a teenager, I started saying hella. It's a very NorCal thing.
Yeah, it is. I remember when I went to U of A my freshman year, and we had all these NorCal people in our dorms and stuff, and all of them were saying hella, and I thought it was the cringiest crap that I've ever heard.
It's hella tight, Eric.
Exactly. All right, well, we have an amazing show for you today. First, we are going to cover Edits, which is the Instagram app feature that is brand new, and then we're going to just straight up give you 10 Instagram posts / Reels ideas that you can implement this week or even today. And then a couple of takeaways from Alex Hermosi at BAMFest, and then Marketer of the Week. Okay, first, Edits app. This is a new feature. You could download it directly from the App Store. Also, Instagram may have notified you that you could actually download this. This is kind of like Instagram's version of CapCut. I'll let the Instagram CEO, Adam Mosseri, break down exactly what this is, and then we'll give our thoughts.
Edits is here. Edits is our new app for those of you who are passionate about making videos on your phone. If you use powerful desktop tools, this might not be for you. And if you're just posting videos of your life, this might not be for you. But if you really are passionate about making amazing, entertaining short-form video for platforms like Instagram, hopefully you're going to find Edits compelling. It has a lot of features that you already know from Instagram. It has insights and a timeline editing tool and the ability to do green screens and touch up. But what I'm really excited about is some of the things that aren't actually in the Instagram app. There's a new cutout AI model from our research team that allow you to extract a video or a piece of a video from a longer video, which is pretty wild to see. There's some new movie generation AI tools coming later this year. There is an inspiration tab where you can see reels with trending audio and hopefully get ideas for what you might want to create. There's actually an entire tab dedicated to your ideas where you can actually see everything that you save from Instagram and add notes or stickies for other ideas you might have before you're ready to commit to a full-blown project. We've been working really closely with creators on this for months, and we're excited to bring it to you. So let me know down below in the comments what features you'd like to see us bring to Edits first and what you think if you download and try the app.
So that notes section, I think, is going to be something that I use because whenever I am scrolling Instagram for inspiration, I usually just screenshot it like an idiot, or I save it and then have to look at it later. But that's how I get, 90% of my inspiration now is by looking at other people's content. So I like the idea that I could directly use the audio right there, start a draft, or, add my notes about what I could potentially use for this. Lindsay, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this Edits app scam that they're running on us?
I'm actually excited about this. I feel like it's going to be a huge time saver when it comes to editing. Personally, I feel like I'm constantly bouncing between apps like CapCut and Vixer just to get one video done. But with edits, we'll finally be able to like streamline the process and create constant content faster and easier all within Instagram. I also love that you can search for the trending reels and sounds without leaving the editing interface. I feel like that's a game changer because the faster that you can hop on a trend, the more likely you are to get picked up by the algorithm and pushed out to a wider audience. And then I also heard that you can export without a watermark too. So that makes cross posting to TikTok, YouTube, and other platforms a lot easier. So I feel like this is something that we've all kind of been waiting for. I feel like it's long overdue, especially because content creation can feel overwhelming, especially when you're juggling between multiple apps. But Edits really simplifies the entire process. So I'm excited to start using it. And I feel like it's going to make content creation a little bit more approachable for like all agents.
Yeah, that no watermark thing is huge because I use CapCut and having to kind of download it and post to TikTok without posting and then download it to your phone. It is just kind of an annoying extra step. Tessa, edits, thoughts?
Yeah,
Do you
I
like
was
it?
pre-downloaded it, so it just showed up on my phone one day, which was kind of cool. I also didn't know that was even a thing. But I did use it for the first time a couple days ago, and I agree. I think it's going to help to streamline a lot of stuff. I do think that there's going to be obviously more and more improvements that come. Um, Although, as somebody who does do a lot of video editing, when I jumped in there, I was like, oh, it's very elementary in comparison to what you can do with ease on some of the other ones. Like, I love Final Cut Pro. I use CapCut pretty much every single day, both on my computer and on my phone. And so to compare it to that, like apples to apples, it's not anywhere near that. But at the same time, it's a brand new app. So I'm sure they'll continue to add to it. So I'll probably incorporate it into my use and like use it here and there. But as of right now, I don't think there's anything that can cap or top CapCut for me right now, or
Interesting.
CapCut.
And before the show, you just said you straight up hated it. So this is
Well,
a
I
little
hated
bit
the
more.
experience. I
He
did.
backed off.
Yeah, Lindsay convinced you with her rhetorical argument about why this is good. Jason,
Here's what
have
I
you?
will say though.
Yeah,
I have
yes.
one hot take. One of my favorite things about CapCut is I love looking at the inspiration, and obviously you can save those much like they're saying you can in edits, but then you can use most of those as a template. And so then it just tells you, oh, you're going to need like 5 video clips. And so you already know, and you can just drop it in and it'll auto format it for you. This doesn't have anything like that yet. Again, I'm sure that's probably something they'll look towards doing in the future. But so for that reason, I was like, oh, it's kind of slows down the process if that's something that you use a lot, which I always encourage people to, because it's really helpful, especially if you are doing like a vlog style video or something like that.
Right. That makes sense. Jason, what about you? Have you screwed around with this edits feature
Downloaded
yet?
it, yeah. Same thing. I had it
Mhm.
pre-down, just showed up on my phone one day, but I haven't put a video in there yet. Now, as I was looking through it, though, the notes thing is pretty legit. Like, I do use a Google Keep, and I have a separate like tab for just video ideas. And so now having it just native in the app where I'm going to do my editing anyway is going to be clutch. If don't forget, CapCut is owned by ByteDance. They're still on an extension. CapCut could legit be gone in a few months if we don't, you know what I mean? So like, I'm going to learn edits real quick just because it might be necessary to learn edits real quick. And then I'm still waiting to see. They're not going to probably ever admit this, but if you get any type of like more exposure, if you make it in edits versus making it in third party, then of course it makes more sense to make it in edits. But Tess is right.
Wrong. Brock Johnson just debunked this rumor. He said that he had spoken, which he did, to Adam Mosseri and said, if we create something in edits, will it get more views, more reach? He said, absolutely not. So you are wrong.
I didn't actually say they were going to do that. I said if they do that, that would be something I would want to take advantage of. But thank you for taking your stance. That being said, Tess is right too. It doesn't have like CapCut does the, hey, every 6 seconds put a new frame in, where like AI kind of picks, like pins it. I forgot what they call it. And that's really, really helpful when you're trying to like do a video really quick. So Edits needs to step its game up, but it's brand new. It'll probably get there.
Play around with it. I mean, this is something like any new platform. When TikTok came out, when Snapchat stories came out, anything, there's always kind of tension at the beginning or friction at the beginning because it's overwhelming to even look at this thing. I remember like editing on Instagram Reels for the first couple of weeks was a pain in the ass. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I just want to create memes. But then once you start getting the hang of it, then I'm sure there's going to be some features that help out with your content. Let us know in the comments if you're going to start using edits. I think everybody here listening to this should at least download it and use that inspiration piece where you could take the notes. And also, like this video, by the way. I didn't mention that at the beginning, Jason. I think we were only at like 50 or 60 likes. Let's get this one to 100. Probably because it was an all boys episode last time.
100%.
People were pissed.
Yeah, 1,400 views, like 63 likes or something like that. It was for the fire that we put out last
Oh
week.
my
It did
God.
not get as much love as it should have. But I feel like we're going to
Exactly.
break that next week or this week.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into topic number 2. The reason you clicked on this video, Reels ideas. We're going to give you 10. We got 3 each, so maybe we'll give you 12. Who should I start with? Who wants to start? Raise their hand. Anybody?
Start with me.
All right, Lindsay Joe, we're going to start with you. This is one that you're going to post, correct?
Yeah,
Maybe next
haven't
week.
posted it yet, but
Got
I
it.
will.
Okay, I want to take a trip down memory lane. Oh my gosh. So my very first year in real estate, I was 23, ambitious, and honestly terrified. I was a baby agent full of big dreams and clueless about the industry. That year, I did just 5 deals and earned a total of $23,000. I remember when I took this picture, I was setting up for my very first open house, renting in Reston, and I really was just taking a chance on myself. By year 3, I think I'd closed maybe 12 transactions. I really started understanding my place in the industry, discovering who I was as a professional and as a person, but still so much to learn and still not really knowing how I fit in this industry. Year 5 was when I started posting on social media. Back then, even just 4 years ago, the online landscape was so different. I knew I wanted to show up authentically. I wasn't sure exactly how yet, but I trusted my voice and kept showing up anyway. So now in year 9, it has been something I would have never dreamed of from the very first photo I showed you. I've built an amazing community of women who inspire me daily. I found my voice and navigated through personal challenges, including a divorce, and emerged stronger, becoming a realtor beyond anything I imagined in that first uncertain year, from 23K to now 300K.
Okay, that was unbelievable. Lindsay, tell us about that video.
Yeah. So this video was inspired by Zendaya's Vogue interview. So for those videos, they always use those black books that open up to reveal like a fun visual overlay. I loved how creative and like unexpected that felt. And I wanted to bring that same energy to telling my own story. So I wanted to show the real behind the scenes of how I started from making just $23,000 my first year to slowly building what I have now, and sharing that part of my story makes it more authentic and relatable. And it was really important for me to include actual photos from those early days, like me setting up for my very first open house, because those moments are really what built the foundation for me. I also wanted to highlight how much the social media landscape has evolved, because what I was posting 4 years ago would not perform today. And that constant evolution is something that we all have to really lean into. And then being authentic and vulnerable has always been a big part of my brand. And I think showing the setbacks along with the growth really helps people connect with me on that deeper level.
Kind of touches upon something that we talked about last week too, Jason, about posting that first video.
Yeah, your sign next to the Keller Williams sign, like the OG pictures. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think getting the content, like there's actually, I want to say it was an Alex Hermosi quote, but I'm sure other people have mentioned it too. And I have experienced this myself. It's so important to document everything, especially the times that you're not yet crushing it. It's much easier to document stuff when you're like absolutely crushing it. But I have 2 things. I have this screenshot of my bank account when I got the keys to my first property, which was like literally overdrafted. Mm-hmm. And I have a photo of me in my car when I was going to showings. I had no AC in my car. I live in Arizona. And so I would drive around with this big ice bag on my lap to try and keep me like medium cool before I got to a showing. And so I save all that stuff. And now I get to use that in content today, which is so cool. And same thing with like starting your real estate journey, starting all of these different things. Even if in the moment it's the worst thing that's happening to you, it's like the best kind of content to be able to continue to show your journey and your evolution. So that's so cool.
Yeah,
Great
document
job.
The process. Gary V 101 right there. And then now we have a video from Naples Natalie, who, by the way, Natalie, if you're watching this video, she has rejected maybe the last 15 walkthrough invitations.
What?
I have sent her a text maybe few, not too often, but a couple times this year saying, hey, walkthrough Thursday. Nope, sorry, out of town. Walkthrough Thursday. Oh, sorry, listing presentation. Walkthrough Thursday. Nope, sorry, this. So either she's really busy, Jason, or she hates us.
Both.
One or the other.
Or both. Yeah.
Or both, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, she's amazing content creator. So let's play this from Natalie Naples.
Welcome to 1227 22nd Avenue North.
Let's do it.
That front door has been slammed more times than I can count and still holding on like a champ. Here we've got a full functioning kitchen. Yes, it works. It didn't work for my mom, but if you know what seasoning is, then you should be fine. This is a one-car garage, but with my dad's hobby obsession, it's borderline illegal. If Hoarders was a sport, he'd be a Hall of Famer. Seriously, we can fit a lot of shit in here. The best pool deck on the block. My grandma has the tan to prove it. She doesn't remember, but she does. 2.5 bathrooms, and lucky you, I think there's still a scent of my brother's getting ready routine. A smell that could peel paint. So DM me if you're interested. My mom has been cleaning since Tuesday, and honestly, she's getting a little weird about it. Or one of these my childhood rooms. Maybe. But you can't take the trauma. That's extra.
So good.
Yeah.
It's got
Brilliant
a piece
stuff.
of like Realtor Caitlin and like Mama Mia, like all the ones we've been seeing, but that's on her own home. Little self-deprecation, little insight. Just so good.
Green screening the listing too, instead of actually being inside of it, I thought was great.
Yeah.
Lindsay, thoughts on that post?
I was obsessed with this video. I love how she walks through the house while like personally sharing the little details, like how the front door has slammed more times than she can count. It adds like that authentic personal touch. And then I also appreciate that she mentioned that she was selling her parents' house for free. I feel like people often assume that realtors live this like super glamorous life, but the reality is we're helping family, we're doing favors, and sometimes, you know, we're working for free. So I thought she was funny. I thought she was playful, but she still highlighted the great features of, you know, the home, like the kitchen, garage, the pool, and it kept me engaged from start to finish. I thought it was a 10 out of 10.
Notice that text-based hook too, selling your house pro bono. So if you were listening to this, you didn't see that, but it said selling my parents' house pro bono. That's a very interesting thing that people are going to click on and watch.
For sure.
Naples, Nat, it's you are one of my favorite follows on Instagram. So if it's Eric that you hate, this is my formal invitation to come on the show. Please, we'd love to have you.
It's definitely me that she hates. I'll tell you that much. All right, Jason, let's get into your Reels ideas, post ideas. What do you got for us?
I have two ideas and we're not going to show these, but they're recent kind of things that I've done, and they performed fairly well. One of them, I'm calling it like voyeur content or like fly on the wall content, right? So like as opposed to talking head stuff, which I think we've all done for the last 2-3 years, especially when you're trying to like explain an educational point or something like that. Now, if you can set up the camera, I mean, if you see this, I'm doing it off to my side, but set up a camera to like watch you talking about something. I've seen it a little bit with like people doing like not fake podcasts, but podcasts arms where they're talking to someone to give like the illusion of a podcast. But on the last one I did, I was actually talking to someone in my phone where I was explaining this thing about real estate. But then the camera that was filming was off to the side. So when you're watching on Instagram, it looks like you're listening in on a conversation that you're maybe not supposed to be listening in on. You're like a fly on the wall. And those tend to hold a little bit longer engagement. I've done that 3 or 4 times now, a couple times in Reels, a couple times in the stories, and they've all performed really well because it gives the air that it's like, hey, I'm not supposed to be here listening to this. You can do it in your car too. I see people do it in their car where they have the thing here, but then it looks like they're talking here. And I think that works really well. It's just like a small tactic as opposed to doing like the old school talking head that we've all been doing for years. I think people just tend to like scroll right through that right now. So any type of voyeur, fly on the wall content. Secondarily, my second one, I only have 2, we've talked about this a lot, but the 4 to 6 second reel B-roll with the text overlay or read down in the caption, those are still performing really, really well. One of my team members, Kathy, she does that exclusively now. And she just this year has had 3 or 4 videos go over 1 million views, which is like, whoa. Yeah. So like, I think a couple of them 500,000, a couple of them 1 million views. And it's just like, you know, like kind of what we talk about. If I were moving to San Diego, here's where I would look. Best schools in San Diego, best sushi in San Diego, best whatever. Whatever the relocation content you're thinking about doing, you can do the video on it. That's great because being on video is awesome. But if you're scared to get on video or you just need something to post really quick, the 4 to 6 second B-roll of your town with some text overlay or the long caption that says, you know, read more in the caption, all of those are still working really, really well for like quick hack engagement.
Yeah, those are absolutely crushing that. Millions of views. That's amazing for those.
Yeah, and she's newer to the business. She's only like a year or 2 in. She just closed like her first $2 million deal. And so she almost exclusively does those. And she's had 2 in 2025 go over 1 million views already.
Have you ever had a video get 23 million views, Jason?
Never. Not even close.
Have you? Tessa? Lindsay?
No.
Have you, Eric?
Must suck. Yeah, I have one right now. 23 million views, a collab post.
So none of us have had a 24 million view. Okay, cool. Equal playing field. Nice.
I'll just wait until 3 o'clock this afternoon, and that thing will be at 24.
Which one's taking off?
It's a collab post I don't want to share right now. It's a OnlyFans AI. It's a guy acting
Oh
like
yeah.
he's doing OnlyFans AI. I thought it was actually like tastefully done. It's hilarious. The guy's name, let me pull his name up just so I could give him credit on this. I DM'd him immediately after he posted this and said collab.
Oh wait, so
Uh,
it's not yours?
Moving on, Tessa. I'm sure you have some amazing reels
I
ideas for us.
do. I
Tessa, what do
do.
you have?
My first one kind of plays on some of what Lindsay was even pointing out initially. It can be a reel or a carousel. I just did this for a client of mine. We were creating some content for a listing that they've had sitting for a little while. They're trying to get it in front of people in kind of a new way. And so I was trying to really understand in greater detail who it would be perfect for. And then I did like a day in your life if you bought this property. And so
Ooh.
you
Yeah,
can
those
do
are
it
good.
again as a reel or a carousel. And like I used really subtle ways to highlight elements of the home as well as where it's located. So one of the slides where I'm showing the master bedroom, I'm like, you woke up a little late, but it's okay because school drop off is less than 2 miles away. And so we're using
Genius.
all of these like little subtle ways to talk about where it's located, emphasize the location of it, all of those kind of things, but in a fun kind of storytelling way. And so I think there's a lot of creative ways you can make a fun spin on that, that again is not disrupting somebody's content pattern as much. So they're going to see it and kind of already be like, oh, I watch, other creators and influencers that do day in the life. So it sort of fits that a little bit while still displaying the real estate side of it.
Love that. That's one.
That
That's
is
awesome.
one.
I like
Okay.
that one.
Number two, this one is not a fit for absolutely everybody, but I do find, and I don't know the statistics, so if someone wants to make something up, I'll go with it, of the amount of real estate agents who have never purchased a home themselves. It's pretty high. I want to say it's like 70% or higher. There's a ton of real estate agents who've never done that. And I think a lot of times they talk about like it from such a perspective of being an expert. I think it's much more endearing and like trust building and all these things if you are to create content around a series of yourself being like, hey, I haven't purchased yet, but here's my journey towards preparing to make my first purchase or something like that. I think is a really great way to build trust and to show the process and just kind of like build that authentic connection with people who are consuming it, kind of getting to watch your journey from behind the scenes. It starts to make them more comfortable with going through that process themselves.
It'd be funny if that agent was using another agent to represent them during the purchase,
I've done that
critiquing everything that was
back. I
going
was
on.
doing a lot of agent facing content during COVID, just because I had nothing else to talk about for a couple months when we were at home. And that was one of my best performing videos. It was like, I was asking questions and I was like, should an agent have to own their own home to be an agent or something like that? And of course, like agents ate that up because they're like, yes, of course they do. And like, no, I can market a house. I don't need to own a home to market a house. And so that it is really like hot button issue topic if you get into the agent community as to like, should you have to own your home?
Oh, 100%.
Smart.
And my third one, you've probably seen it, is the trend. It's the like my team trend. And so you can do it if you have multiple people you work with. I think it could be a fun way to incorporate like partners that you work with often. So like your lender, title, like all these kinds of things. Or you can just do a funny spin on it for yourself. So most people are doing it. They'll have like a spinny chair and they'll spin around and it's like introducing them as like team members, but it's like me, the negotiator, the therapist, the like, party host, like all of these different things of kind of like displaying how you get involved in your real estate career and with your clients. And so I think there's lots of fun, creative takes on that where you can really have fun with it, or you can also use it as a way to highlight some of the partners that you align with in your business or a little combination of both. And I've seen those doing really, really well.
That's great. Yeah, we'll play a clip of that.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
All right. You guys want 3 bangers
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got.
from me?
Collab with someone's 23 million view post.
And then take
Yeah,
credit
pretty
for it.
much. How about this? Meme your market instead of memeing the industry and all of its characters and problems, kind of like how I do. How about you meme your local market, the stuff only locals get, the stuff people complain about at brunch? Every city kind of has their inside jokes, like the annoying, I don't know, traffic light something like that. You know, the annoying.
I get,
give me
I
a
get,
little.
where, I get where you're going.
The overpriced grocery store, the one bar everyone ends up at, even though they claim to hate it. That's where the gold. Like, for example, if you're in LA and there's a person in New York and they're like, "Hey, I'm staying in West Hollywood. Let's grab dinner tonight." And you're like, and I'm like, I'm in Santa Monica. That's 45 minutes away on a Thursday with traffic. You're not anywhere near me. You may as well be in Bangladesh, right? That sort of stuff where, you know, the traveler here doesn't understand that going in LA could take a long amount of time. The point is humor works, right? Kyle Talbot moving to Kansas City. I've brought this up a million times before. He memes his market. He talks about the weather. He talks about when you go to a restaurant that's too busy. That sort of content where you're hitting that note with other locals gets shared. So what would an example be for you, Jason, in San Diego?
You know what I've seen people do, and that you could just take off that, is a lot of people are doing like to have ChatGPT roast my city. And then I've seen that
Yes,
kind of take off. And so
exactly.
you could theoretically do that, but like that's been done now. So if it's already been done in your city, you're too late. But you could then there's probably 5 or 6 roasts and individually make those like clips where you're talking about like memeing the thing that ChatGPT roasted. There's a line there that you could do. Yeah, I think.
100%. By the way, we have these hyper-local meme templates for you in BAMX. And if you're watching this right now on Thursday, the price goes up at midnight tonight. So if you're going to get into BAMX, tonight is the night to do it. Okay, here's another idea. You ready for this one? Seems like you guys didn't really care too much for that one. Negative hooks. Why you should not move to Tucson. You know, instead of saying 5 reasons you should move to Tucson, here's why you shouldn't move to Tucson. This is not an original idea, of course. We've heard that negative hooks can attract more information or more clicks. For example, when we do a video, Jason, that says 10 things you should not do on Instagram, that's going to get a lot more clicks than 10 things you should do on Instagram. So if we use Tucson as an example, it could be, you know, there's too many amazing Mexican restaurants, or it's sunny all the time. It's annoyingly sunny.
So
To start to miss clouds and grass.
Fans of the show will remember that we've highlighted this video specifically with Tucson Bridget, who did this exact video for Tucson, and she crushed with it. So congratulations, Bridget. You get a second shout out on this episode, but that is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. You know what, Jason? I had that in my notes to shout out Bridget Baldwin at Tucson Agent. So go follow her. We're going to have her on a episode here coming up. I want to break down her content. Or like winter, never heard of her. Get ready to wear shorts in February because it's disgusting here in Tucson. You could just ask ChatGPT, put in the prompt that says, you know, roast my city, like you said, or give me 10 reasons why people should move to Tucson, but make it a negative. And then it could spit out that content. I think that would work. And then I also have a tell me what your must-have home feature is. It's kind of engagement bait, but I would do it in a storytelling way, being like, you know, if I maybe not a must-have home feature, home feature, but something I like would be my dream feature, a golf simulator or a basketball hoop or something like that. That's a good kind of engagement bait piece. Any ideas on how to spin that in a better way? I didn't articulate that very well. Lugnuts is moving around in the background.
I do like that, though. I think that could be a really good way. Honestly, a lot of these ideas that I think everyone has mentioned, it's a great way to display who the ideal client is for that particular property, and you can kind of do a good job of painting that picture. So I think that that's a fun way to like cater to specific type of people. If you talk about having a golf simulator in your home, that's going to attract a really specific group of people, and it's also probably going to have wives sending it to their husbands or boyfriends quite often. So I'm sure that can become a really shareable piece of content.
Tessa, home feature, what would your dream one be?
I honestly think off the top of my head, it would probably have to do with the kitchen. Like I love those appliance garages in kitchens where it looks really nice and everything's sleek and out of the way, or when they just have really smart additions to it, like the doggy water bowl filler in the island, that kind of stuff. So I want like a really pimped out kitchen, I think.
Lindsay, what about you? Dream feature for a future
Glam
home?
room, of course. Can I move this around, or is Haley going to yell at me?
What's a glam room?
You know what a glam room is? Tessa, tell him.
Oh my gosh. Like just the ultimate place to get ready. So you've got great lighting, perfect mirrors, all your makeup's ready, shoes, bags, everything's just like perfectly set up for.
So is that a closet?
No.
No.
Sounds like the exact opposite of a closet. A glam room would be that's a great piece of content right there. Like this house has an amazing glam room.
Wait, let me tell you, I am currently probably about to list this $7 million property. The guy who customized this for his now ex-fiance had built the craziest glam room. It has got a heart-shaped pink bathtub, like the hair washing station. Everything's pink marble. The walls are all pink, sparkly, like everything to the nines, because she would always have her friends over to get ready to like go out to dinners and stuff. It is the ultimate glam room. But it did sort of break my heart that I was like, that's not going to fly for a lot of people, but pretty crazy.
Ultimate glam room.
Some great content could be made in that room.
Jason, what about you? What's your dream feature?
First of all, I'd like to point out that Haley's in the chat asking if he needs a new fiance. But I'm big on the backyard. So like we have our house and then we have this like kind of this back patio area, but it's got like the old aluminum kind of like shutters. And so we have our contractor bidding to rip it out and put like a new pergola with like the flap sail things that open with like fans under them. And then we have a mounted TV, but we're going to get a bigger TV. Like I love the concept of like a big indoor outdoor space. So like it just extends out the back patio. So if I get like a sick pergola with some sort of like a backyard area, because we have our grass area and stuff like that, but where it can just be another entertaining space, that would be pretty rad for me. We're in San Diego, so it's perfect weather all the time. It works.
I have to change my answer. I feel like you put me on the spot by asking me first, and Jason just inspired me. So my true dream feature is I want like the ultimate little biohacking setup with like the red light sauna, cold plunge, like the whole thing, so that you can go and just like have your whole little routine for ultimate health and beauty.
I do need to upgrade mine. I've got like the $150 ice bath thing that you have to put the ice in. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to like try it out before I spent like thousands of dollars, and it's fine. Like I like it, but if I had the Gucci setup with like the workout mat, because I do have my dumbbells there, and then like a better ice bath, and then like the infrared sauna, then that would be pretty ideal.
All good ideas. Let us know in the comments what your dream feature for a home would be. I noticed nobody asked me mine.
What's yours?
Yours.
Podcast studio.
No, I finally have that. Thank God. I would say probably a rage room, just a room dedicated like where I could take a bat and smash the shit out of things. So that way, if for some reason Golden State doesn't cover last night, Jimmy Buckets goes down in the first 15 minutes and I have him plus 7.5 live line, I could just head into the other room right now with an aluminum Easton bat and just start smashing the crap out of things. Or for example, I post a piece of content, doesn't do well. There's a mirror I could shatter. There's a little maybe sculpture of someone that I don't like that I could just beat the crap out of. That's what I would like to have.
I think these girls are judging you and your gambling addiction and your rage issues.
Exactly. All right. Well, if you haven't heard of this, Jason, I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about experience.com because it is helping agents dominate their local markets. It is a platform that gives real estate agents a free profile that boosts visibility, Google search, and maps. We're talking 93% of users showing up on the first page of Google. From our dashboard, you can manage your entire online presence. You collect and showcase reviews. You track customer sentiment, and you even share client feedback straight on social. And did I mention it's gamified, Jason? This is experience.com because reputation management is way more fun when there's a scoreboard. So if you want to show up not higher, but if you want to show up better online and actually control your digital reputation, hit the link in the description and join experience.com. All right. Marketer of the week. I got one.
Is it me?
It is not you, although it has been you in the past. It's been Lindsay Joe in the past. It's been Tessa Hella Bella in the past. Marketer of the week is from Ryan Serhant. I love this video from Ryan Serhant about how to manage client expectations and calm economic fear.
Markets go up, markets go down, and they historically come back that much stronger. This market correction is caused by one guy making basically one statement, and it's collapsed markets on uncertainty. He comes out and he says one thing positive, you'll have $2 to $3 trillion that gets added back to the market.
A few moments later.
Told you.
So, voyeur, just like you said, Jason.
You see that? Yeah. That is he was talking on the phone to someone. I bet you he wasn't even on the phone with someone. I bet you Correct. He just went back and filmed that after the markets went back up.
He said too in his own comments, he said, best video I've made by accident. And I thought it was great because it was, replicating what a conversation would be like with your clients when clients are saying, hey, tariffs, they're driving me nuts, or I don't know what's going to happen with the market. And he just kind of handles that objection right there. My markets go up, markets go down. Just, really simplifies it for people. I thought that video was great. Thoughts in the video, Tessa?
I love it. The very first thing I noticed was exactly what Jason talked about in his real idea. So I do think that that was a real time example of how well that works. And then also, Jason, not to keep tooting your horn here, but after that video played, you also mentioned, and I think this is something that a lot of times we can take and apply to our own content strategy is like, maybe you don't have somebody who's filming you every moment of every day. And so you wouldn't have captured something like that, but you can very easily, for the most part, recreate that. Even if you don't have a videographer, ready to go, you could have a phone set up and have even just holding like your case kind of to the side. So it looks like it's another phone that you're on if you don't have something. And it's easy enough to recreate some of those things to create a really compelling piece of content where it does pull me in because I feel like I'm listening to something I shouldn't have, just like you said.
Nailed it.
Great point.
Technically my boss, Ryan Serhant.
That's right.
That's right.
That is absolutely right. Serhant has always been an amazing follow in terms of being on the cutting edge of what's working in marketing. Like he's always testing out new sort of content. He has that, life of a CEO where someone comes in and kind of gives him a problem that's happening. You could kind of watch him.
Yeah, those
work it
videos
out
have
in
been
real
great.
time.
Those have been really great where the guy comes in with the 3 fires for the day or whatever.
Exactly.
I think he copied that from the Amalfi Jets guy. Do you follow him? The CEO of Amalfi Jets. He started that content first, and I think Ryan took over and has done it too. But that's great real content as well. If you're in like a leadership position or some sort of like role where you can have someone come in with a fire and then you show how to solve it, like that's been really good.
Yeah. Serhant, he's just been crushing it content-wise for years. By the way, so we went over 10 Reels ideas. Maybe we gave you 11 or 12 there. Next week, Tessa and Bam are releasing the Reels Challenge. So Tessa, why don't you tell people what this is so they can anticipate it? And by the way, go follow Tessa right now on Instagram because we're going to be dropping this collab with her.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We've curated 30 post ideas, real ideas. And so each day you'll get a new prompt for a really simple reel that you can go and create that's intended to drive more engagement, get more people connecting with your content, building up more of that local audience. So I think it's going to be a really simplified way to map out content. And even if you can't, I would challenge everybody to commit to hitting those 30 reels in 30 days. You'll see a huge change in your social presence and how it's working for you in just 30 days. And I always find that to be really inspiring to keep going after the fact, because once you're doing it, you're seeing that growth, you're seeing the views increase, the engagement, the followers, all the things. It's kind of hard. It gets a little addicting. You don't want to stop at that point. So you'll really have this encouragement to keep going. But I will say, even if 30 sounds incredibly intimidating, because I know that does to some people who aren't posting consistently, I think it's something that everyone should plug into. Even if you pick and choose a couple of them to do each week and not the full 30, there's still going to be a ton of benefits that come out of doing it. So we will announce how to get started on Instagram soon, and I'm very excited.
It'll be sweet. We got it from Brock Johnson, who just did his 30-day Reels challenge, and he has it set up in such a great way where it just DMs you the real idea and kind of shows you how to set it up. And I think this is, just like Tessa said, a great way for agents to get started. And there's no excuse. If you're getting the idea hand delivered to you, create that reel, right? Mm-hmm. Finally, BAMFest was yesterday. Thank you, everybody who attended. We had Alex Hermosi on as their surprise guest. I was teasing him for weeks. And one of my main takeaways from the listen was Hermosi talked about, Sharon asked him if there was one thing you could write on your notepad or a sticky note that you would have to your computer, what would it be? And he said, violence is the answer. Something along those lines, which I was like, what? What are you talking about? But he was talking about violence in the way of how you hammer content, meaning if you have a message that you want out there, or you have something that you're promoting, whether it's the Reels Challenge or it's BAMFest or it's, videos that he's been making. He said he made like 35,000 videos before he even got popular. It's really important to know that, like, when you produce a piece of content, you're not necessarily going to get the result that you want, right? I promoted BAMFest like crazy, and I tried so many different things, different cartoons, different green screens, different lives, and a lot of it didn't work. But I was violent, to use his term, in the way I was promoting to make sure that eventually one of these is going to work. Eventually one of these is actually going to hit. So I just thought that was a great takeaway. Anything else? Did you watch BAMFest, Jason? Did you see anything
I was on
you
a
liked from it?
flight, but I rewatched the
Yeah.
replay of. I just got through Sharon and Hermosi's part, and I took away the violence part as like brute force is what he was talking about. Is just like literally like everybody's so worried about the strategy and the tactics of how to do it, and he's like, I was violent with my brand early on. He just meant he just did more work than everybody else. He just put out more videos, more, and he just brute forced his way to success, and that was pretty good. I liked how he talked about basically like social media and marketing's videos is free. And he's like, even if you only get 22 views, he's like, I would think about it as like, I would speak to a room of 22 people. And he's like, I would actually have to pay a lot of money to get 22 people in a room to speak to them about business. I can do that for free. And he's like, you know what I mean? And every piece, and people are complaining about social and not getting enough views. He's like, that's free. He's like, in the real world, you have to pay for customer acquisition. He's like, you get branding for free. And so I was like, that's actually a good kind of reset sometimes when we get too caught up in our vanity metrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took violence to mean volume, so kind of similar, but I've always loved the phrase volume negates luck. So obviously every now and then you'll get lucky with something on social media that'll just kind of pop off whether you plan for it to or not. But if you want to negate luck, not have to plan on luck and just actually see consistent progress, volume is one of the best ways to do so. And so there's almost no such thing as creating too much content, as long as you're continually like paying attention to what's working and what's not working and trying to provide value and add better stuff each time. But ultimately, you know, your viewers and your audience dictates what they want to see. And so put out more of it, you'll have a bigger presence and you'll get a lot more data as far as what's working and not working. And then you can be more picky and choosy with, you know, what you want to put more time or money or effort into content wise.
He also had a great point where a lot of people, or Sharon asked him, saying there's so much good content out there, or if there's another agent in your market who's crushing it with hyper local stuff, and you kind of think, all right, well, that's taken now. I can't do that. That's not the case at all. Just like he said, there's a million good Netflix shows, there's a million good movies, there's a million good songs. Like there is enough attention where that shouldn't take away from your ability to perform if someone else is doing it. Right? Like the broke agent is not the first meme page. Real estate, maybe. Yes. But it's not the only humor account. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then a lot of times there's opportunities to collaborate with the other people too. I think it's like a lot of people do see other agents who are crushing it in their market and they may think, oh, there's not room for me now, or that's too saturated or whatever. You know, we all have these micro audiences that pay a lot more attention. Even like when Lindsay and I have done content together, there's people that'll identify way more with her and her story and her journey. And then same thing with me. And so that's why there's so much power in collaborating with people instead of thinking, oh, it's too saturated. I would find those people and literally see if you can do something together, whether it's like an in-person event or content or, you know, I always find massive benefit to being able to collaborate with people. So that's how I would see it.
Agreed.
Collaboration over what, Jason? What is the real phrase?
Competition.
Competition. That's right. I could see Tim Macy in that shirt right now.
Probably.
Wearing that. Yeah, exactly. By the way, if you are an agent and you're listening to this, you do want to stand out from the crowd like everybody we're mentioning. Reminder Media is a resource you have to check out. You get your own branded print and digital magazines, email newsletters, and social content. They deliver it to your contacts on autopilot, keeping you top of mind with your database. All you have to do is focus on your follow-up calls and repeat business come in. Any final thoughts here? This was a great episode. We had 12 Reels ideas. We covered edits. Lindsay, anything you want to say to the fans, the crowd out there? Any motivational tips?
Well, good for you, Eric, for continuing to hammer out BAMFest when you weren't seeing results. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's frustrating because it's a free event and it's getting harder and harder to get people to sign up for something because there is so much oversaturation right now. Everyone wants real estate agents' attention. And that's why we do things differently at BAM, with the humor, with the music videos, with the surprise guest, because you have so many people saying, comment the word this, comment the word that, do this, do that. And people are kind of exhausted by it. So I just had to really, like Tessa said, just pump up the volume there. Jason, you're speaking at Rev B tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
right?
11
What are
a.m.
you talking about?
I'm doing a tactical, it's called the 5 Zones of Greatness, where we break down 5 different agent types that exist. And then there's 2 marketing tips for each type. So there's 10 marketing tips that come out of it. So we spend a little bit of time talking about the 5 zones, identifying which one you're a part of. And then the next like 20 minutes is talking about tactics that go for each one.
That sounds like a great talk.
It's not bad. I've done it a couple times now.
The 5 Zones of Greatness. All right, everybody, go follow Tessa. What's your Instagram?
Tessa Bella.
Go follow Tessa, Hella, Bella, because we are going to be releasing the 30-day Reels challenge. Do not miss it. We are going to be making that announcement with her. So make sure you go follow her account. Lindsay Joe, what is your Instagram account?
Lindsay Joe. 3Y.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, I know these accounts. I'm just
I
saying
know.
them
I'm
for
like,
the
wait,
audience.
when did you ever
I'm
ask
saying
me to say it?
for the audience.
For
Got
the
it.
peeps.
All right, go follow
Lindsay
Lindsay Joe
Joe.
because she's going to drop her day in the life video next week. And go follow Jason Cassidy if you want to be a fly on his wall to see his voyeur content. Thank you, everybody who attended BAMFest. And if you want to get into BAMX, today is the day to do it. Link down in the description. Price is going up at midnight. Thank you.